Hey guys, welcome back to Pregnancy and Parenting Untangled. I'm your host, Hilary Erickson, the pregnancy nurse. Today we are talking about baby dropping, or some people call it fetal lightening. Now, that's a term that midwives made a long time ago, although I will say that I feel like your pelvis zaps a little bit when baby drops. That might be where it comes from. But the reason I love this video is that, first off, it can be really disconcerting because you're going to possibly wake up one morning or just get out of a chair and all of a sudden you're able to breathe better. And it's really normal to think, is something wrong? Or what was wrong with me before? But as baby drops in your pelvis, suddenly you get, just an extra maybe half inch for your lungs. But that can feel like, oh my gosh, I finally got a full breath of air. So I don't want you guys to be worried about that. So that's, of course, why I put out some of this information. I also want you guys to know that you can carry high right up until delivery. I do that. My babies are living right under my bra until right before they are born. And so that can be really normal. I always get a lot of comments about that, and I think it's important to know. Now, baby dropping or fetal lightening is a sign, but it is not a crystal ball. Your baby can drop a few weeks before you go into labor. So it isn't like labor is imminent because everybody's different. Some people, baby drops and they will go into labor, but some people, baby drops and they still wait a few weeks. Everybody is different. Make sure and talk with your provider if you have any questions, but let's untangle it. As a reminder, the information on this podcast is only medical information and should not be taken as advice. If you have any questions about the information on this podcast, please speak with your provider. Hilary is a nurse, but not your nurse. Has your baby dropped? Now, that can be a scary thing because a lot of you might have anxiety about dropping the baby after you have the baby. I know I totally did. But today we're talking about it dropping into your pelvis, not dropping it on the floor, thankfully. We're going to talk about the signs the baby has dropped, what it means, and what to expect moving forward. And of course, we've got the old crocheted pelvis and crocheted baby to talk a little bit more about where baby's at in your body. In case you haven't met me and my crocheted baby yet, hello, I'm Hilary. I'm the pregnancy nurse. I've been a nurse since 1997. I have 20 years of labor and delivery experience. Plus, I had 3 babies of my own, which I carried way up high until right before birth. So I really get wanting baby to drop so that you can breathe a little bit easier. Now, baby dropping can be an early sign of labor. I just did a video on the early signs of labor that you will want to check out. Okay, quick anatomy lesson. This is your pelvis, right? Yours is not crocheted, although it may feel like that sometimes, right? And within your pelvis hangs out your uterus. And this is where the baby is, right? We're not going to pay attention to the uterus too much this time. We're mostly going to pay attention to the pelvis. This is your baby in your pelvis. Most often they are head down. If they are bum down, talk with your provider about that because there's a good chance you're going to need a C-section. That is a whole other bag of tips that we are not talking about. And today we're mostly talking about baby dropping if they are head down. If they are bum down, they're less likely to drop just because, as you can imagine, baby's hips are a little bit harder to drop into the birth canal than the baby's head. Now, what do we mean when we talk about baby dropping? It just means that baby used to be hanging out here up by your lungs, and the magic of gravity has taken place and they are starting to settle into your pelvis. So when baby is up high, these are your lungs up here and you probably can't breathe. I don't know if you start to get winded very easily during pregnancy. Normally that's okay. Now, if you're winded without absolutely any work, then that can be a reason to talk with your provider. It could show that there's an issue, but getting winded by climbing a few stairs can be very normal because you just have less lung space up here. Fun fact, did you know that your rib cage actually expands to allow your lungs to open up enough to give you enough oxygen while you are pregnant? Isn't it amazing? We don't even have to think about it, but our body knows that we still need oxygen for both ourselves and for baby, and so it opens up those rib cages so that we can breathe a little bit better. And as you can imagine, as baby starts to head down, then you got to breathe a little bit more, but suddenly your bladder is a little bit more affected and you're probably going to feel the baby into that birth canal. You might feel some stretching in your cervical area. You might just feel a lot of pressure. You might feel like you're sitting on something right there because, of course, the baby's head is right in your birth canal area. So often after you feel baby drop into the birth canal, you suddenly have to pee even more frequently, if you could even imagine it. Now, if you're having any burning or difficulty peeing, then that is an issue that you need to talk with your provider about. Now, what does this all mean? When baby's up here and suddenly they settle, honestly, it doesn't mean a whole lot because baby can do this at any point in time. For me, my baby's hung out in my lungs until right before delivery. And I was like 9 centimeters. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, I can finally breathe. And they had dropped into the birth canal. I have no idea why, but that is how each one of my babies did it. So if you haven't felt baby drop yet, it doesn't mean that labor is years away. It just means baby is still high up in the birth canal. Things you can do to help baby descend a little bit better include squats, lunges, just really preparing those legs and those ligaments involved in your pelvic floor to relax and accept baby down into your pelvis. Now, when does this usually happen? Usually in the last month of pregnancy, although some people baby drops a little bit earlier than that. A lot of times you don't even know that baby has dropped until we check your cervix. So when we go in to check the cervix, one of the things we talk about is baby's station. And that really talks about how high or low in your pelvis the baby is. If the baby's head is even with these ischial spines, then that is a 0 station. If they're starting to come down a little bit, that is a +1. And if they're way up here, then that's like a -1, -3, +4. That's when we got to get a doctor in the room. So a lot of times you'll come in, you won't know how high or low baby is, but then we go to check you, we'll say something like, oh, baby is right here, the head's way down low. A lot of times as the baby's head descends into the birth canal, it will start to dilate. Although there are times that your cervix will still just stretch right around the baby's head and won't open up still. So that's how to know if your baby dropped and what it means going forward. Again, all of these symptoms can be good or bad, and if you have any questions, talk with your provider at your next appointment so that you can better understand what's going on with you and your body. And I totally recommend that everyone join a birth class so that you can really get the basics before you go into those prenatal appointments so that you can talk about how the basics apply to you and your upcoming birth. Come join me in the online prenatal class for couples. It truly is the easy way to get prepared for birth, and I am constantly updating it, and I think it is one of the most affordable birth classes available. Okay, has your baby dropped? Tell us in the comments. I would love to know. Thanks so much for joining me for this video. Please go ahead and give this video a like and give me a follow so we can hang out for the rest of your pregnancy.